A very good evening and welcome to the news at 6 here on Rajya Sabha TV. We'll get you the day's developing stories from India and across the world. I'm Tracy Shilshi and let's head straight to the headlines. In a pre-Republic Day crackdown, the National Investigation Agency arrests 13 Islamic State sympathizers in simultaneous raids in 4 states. HRD Ministry to hold judicial inquiry into the suicide of Dalit student Rohith Vemla. Report to be submitted in 3 months. Prime Minister Narendra Modi finally breaks his silence over the suicide incident, expresses grief and reaches out to Dalits, saying that the government is committed to their welfare. The cold wave intensifies in North India. Air and rail traffic is disrupted due to dense fog and failing visibility. And in the Australian Open, Mahesh Bhupathi and his partner Giles Mueller lose in the second round. Our top story this evening, the HRD Ministry will set up a judicial commission to review the sequence of events leading to Hyderabad University student Rohith Vemla's death. It will submit its report within 3 months. The decision on who will head that commission will be decided, of course, in consultation with the Chief Justice of Telangana later. But on the university campus, protests, of course, continuing against the Vice-Chancellor and the government. Yesterday, of course, we did see that the 4 students, along with Rohith Vemla, the 4 students, of course, who were suspended, that suspension was revoked. And today, finally, we did hear from the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, addressing a conference, in fact, made a speech and he expressed grief at the incident, saying that in no way was the government non-Dalit in any manner. And they, of course, saying that he's, of course, saying that his government is working for the welfare of Dalits, the poor and the oppressed. Is that enough, though? To speak on that, and joining us on this story now, in studio we have Mr. Ashok Kumar Bharti, who's the chairman of the National Confederation of Dalit Organizations, joining us this evening here on News at 6. Sir, thank you so much for being here with us. And like I pointed out, is it enough what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said today? Is that going to calm those nerves? Mr. Bharti?
Yes.
Are you happy with Mr. Modi's statement that he made today? Is that going to calm the anger?
Well, I guess that it should have some impact on the community. But in my opinion, the statement is too late because the passions are too high. And in fact, the actions are inadequate. So therefore, Prime Minister has to really think that just emotional appeals are now not going to help the community and not going to help the government. What Dalits want, they want concrete action and they want an overhaul of the higher education system, and that call he has to take.
Absolutely. And speaking of the Rohith Vemla case in general, you know, of course, there are lots of support that's coming in, of course, for him. Also, the Dalit community, the students there at Hyderabad University. Some are, of course, of the opinion as well that, you know, what he has done is, of course, not right. And making him a kind of a hero is, of course, also kind of encouraging this kind of behavior, which, of course, is not good in the long run. But if we actually look at the words that are being used for Rohith Vemla, calling him a martyr, calling, you know, what his act and sacrifice, in a way, the students also saying that this has been long in coming. You know, they have been feeling subjected for quite a long time, and eventually it had to lead to, you know, such a tragic incident. And this is the kind of story that we're seeing from other universities as well. Reports coming in that other Dalit students also now speaking out.
Yes. In fact, the Rohith Vemla's case is a very, very, you know, that enlightening case in a sense that first, he did not come from the quota system that normally the people of this country have seen. He
Yes.
came his own merit. And in fact, that why it has upset the everyone of the Dalit community and the well-meaning people in this country as well.
Yes.
Not only Dalits,
Yes.
even the non-Dalits have been, been very concerned the way, because there are several things that the people tried to prove that he was not a non-Dalit, he was not a Dalit. Then they try to ridicule him. In fact, some of the people in the government and outside the government try to portray as Rohith was an anti-national, anti-social. One of the ministers has made it a statement that the Ambedkar Student Association is anti-social, anti-national. I guess this is ridiculous that if you are going to question the nationality and anti-social, social, you are going to tell that Dalits they are the anti-social.
Yes.
I am sure that the Dalits are angry, and of course they have all the right to be angry. Today itself, one of the respected member of the ruling party has compared again that the people who are confronting and who are really coming out in support of the Dalit cause, they have been dubbed as dogs. So I guess the ruling party and the Prime Minister has to really use his prerogative and restrain the government and the ministers and the political people that they should deal with this issue sensitively. Dalits are an oppressed lot in this country.
Absolutely.
And
even now.
Yeah.
We'll talk more, sir, about more about those demands in just a short while. But let's just tell our reminder viewers again that the HRD Ministry did set up a judicial commission to review those sequence of events that led to Rohith Vemla's death. Let's get you details of that, and we'll come back to Mr. Bharti for more.
Student protests intensifying across the country over the death of Dalit scholar Rohith Vemla. At the Hyderabad University, angry students are demanding the resignation of Vice Chancellor Appa Rao for the incident.
Fact-finding committee is an eyewash. Everyone knows that. सब जानते हैं इस मामले में कौन जिम्मेदार है. HRD मिनिस्ट्री ने प्रेशर बनाया है यूनिवर्सिटी के ऊपर इस बच्चों के ऊपर एक्शन लेने के लिए. तो इसमें HRD मिनिस्ट्री बीजेपी लीडरशिप जिम्मेदार है. इनको जरूर इस्तीफा देना होगा. पुलिस को आगे करके हमें बंद करना चाहते हैं.
On Friday, the HRD Ministry ordered a judicial inquiry into the circumstances leading to the suicide of Rohith Vemla. This was after the two-member fact-finding committee submitted its observations. Union Minister Smriti Irani also met Vemla's mother in the morning and conveyed the government's support and shared in her grief. But the political parties continue to hold the government responsible.
Mere crocodile tears will not return Rohith Vemla or do justice to him. For doing justice to Rohith Vemla, for eroding the anti-Dalit mindset of ABVP BJP, concrete action would have to be taken.
जो घटना घटी है इसका तो जवाब दें. क्या एक्शन आप कर रहे हैं? काम कौन सा किया आप बताइए ना. कौन काम किया यही तो देश जानना चाहता है.
देखिए ये दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है. हमारी सरकार दलित समाज के उत्थान के लिए चिंतित रहती है. हमारी सरकार ने साफ तौर पर स्पष्ट किया है कि ये मुद्दा दलित और गैर दलित का नहीं है. दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण तरीके से जो विरोधी दल हैं वो जानबूझकर इस आत्महत्या पर सियासत कर रहे हैं.
बीजेपी जो है और संघ परिवार उसकी पूरी विचारधारा दलित विरोधी है.
Irrespective of whether he was Dalit or not, the way he was treated, whether he was a backward, clearly the ABVP political power was channelized through ministers to mistreat, harass, pressurize and hound the student. And there is yet no answer to that except these kind of innuendos.
में हस्तक्षेप करके जो यूनिवर्सिटी की स्वायत्तता है उस पर भी हमला किया है. इसलिए हमारी मांग है जिनके खिलाफ केस दर्ज हैं उनको उनके पदों से हटाया जाए. श्रीमती स्मृति ईरानी भी इसके लिए जिम्मेदार हैं. उनको मंत्रिमंडल से हटाया जाए.
According to protesting students, the entire sequence of events started last August when the university set up an inquiry against Rohith and 4 other students 2 days after they allegedly assaulted ABVP leader N. Sushil Kumar. Union Minister Dattatreya reportedly wrote to the HRD minister urging action while claiming that the university had become a den of casteist, extremist and anti-national politics. 5 students, including Vemla, were then suspended in September. On January 3rd, they were moved out of their hostel rooms. It was during their relay hunger that Rohith committed suicide. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also broke his silence over the suicide of Rohith Vemla. Addressing the students at Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar University in Lucknow, the Prime Minister expressed his grief over the death. He also reached out to dalits, saying that the government was committed to their welfare. Earlier, Prime Minister did interact with differently abled people in his parliamentary constituency of Varanasi and flagged off an express train connecting Varanasi to New Delhi. Here's a report.
With his government under attack over the Dalit student's suicide in Hyderabad, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday broke his silence on the issue. The Prime Minister said he was saddened by the suicide. Modi was speaking as the chief guest at the convocation ceremony of the B.R. Ambedkar University in Lucknow. His speech saw protests by 2 students who were evicted by the police.
मां भारती ने अपना एक लाल खोया, कारण अपनी जगह पर होंगे, राजनीति अपनी जगह पर होगा, लेकिन सच्चाई यह है कि मां ने एक लाल खोया। इसकी पीड़ा मैं भली भांति महसूस करता हूं।
Earlier, the Prime Minister reached out to the Dalits in his constituency in Varanasi. Modi said his government was committed to the welfare of the Dalits, poor and the oppressed. Addressing a gathering, he said despite being under attack, he was committed to working for the poor.
ये सरकार गरीबों को समर्पित है। दलित हो, पीड़ित हो, शोषित हो, वंचित हो।
The Prime Minister also distributed electronic aid, including e-rickshaws, to differently abled people and called for a change in mindset towards them. He said that people should view special qualities in a person instead of their shortcomings. The Prime Minister also flagged off the Mahamana Express train connecting Varanasi to New Delhi. The train, which is named after Madan Mohan Malviya, will run thrice a week. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Ashok Kumar Bharti of the National Confederation of Dalit Organizations still here with us in studio. Mr. Bharti, finally, I would just like to ask you, what is the main demand now of especially those students there, the faculty members there in Hyderabad University? What is going to calm their anger? Is it eventually going to be the 2 ministers being shunted out?
I guess that the first and foremost, we request, and I suppose that the first demand of the students and the community is to remove the Vice Chancellor of the Hyderabad Central University, who is responsible, who has behaved in very irresponsible manner and pushed the Rohith to his suicide. That is the one. Second, I guess that when a case under the Atrocity Act has been registered against the Member of Parliament and the Minister Bandaru Dattatreya, our suggestion would be the government should look into that and should not have a minister against which a case has been registered under the Atrocity Act. So that is very, very critical. I guess these are the 2 primary things they need to do. And third thing that we request, adequate compensation, employment to the other son of the brother of Rohith Vemla, and also revamping and overhauling the higher education system. Let students get their fellowship in time and in their account as the officers get. And I guess that we really hope from the Prime Minister that he is a very well-meaning person.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the message that has gone to the community that Prime Minister is not interested to meet the Dalits at large, but the Prime Minister meets only the industrialists, and that's to 120 industrialists of the Dalit community. But Dalit community want have an interaction with the Prime Minister, and they don't want their industrialists to become their representative.
Absolutely. All right, we'll leave it there for now. Mr. Bharti, thanks so much for joining us on this story that we'll be keeping an eye out on all developments here on Rajya Sabha TV. Meanwhile, heading on to more news. In a pre-Republic Day crackdown, the National Investigation Agency arrested 13 Islamic State sympathizers today and claimed to have averted a major terror attack. The arrests happened in simultaneous raids in Karnataka, Hyderabad, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. Here's a report.
In a nationwide swoop, NIA along with state police forces and central security agencies arrested 13 sympathizers of the banned terror group Islamic State. Among those arrested is their self-styled chief, Amir. The raids were carried out simultaneously in Karnataka, Hyderabad, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, where 13 people had formed the Janud-ul-Khalifa-e-Hind, a terror group having ideologies similar to that of the IS.
अभी जितने भी जो पकड़े गए हैं और जितने भी हमारे निगरानी में हैं और जहां तक हम समझते हैं कि बहुत सालों के बाद इतना ज़्यादा मात्रा में हम लोगों ने क्रैकडाउन किया है हर जगह में, तो एक उसको ये दर्शाता है कि हम लोग कितने एक फोकस तरीके से अपना कदम उठा रहे हैं और इससे देश के लिए एक सुरक्षा का माहौल, एक सुरक्षित देने का जो हमारा कमिटमेंट है देशवासियों को, उस डायरेक्शन में हम लोग चल रहे हैं.
All the arrested accused are undergoing detailed interrogation as preliminary inquiry indicates that there was a proper structure to the terror outfit. The NIA and central agency sleuths have also recovered 42 mobile phones, explosive material, detonators, wires, batteries and hydrogen peroxide besides jihadi literature. Meanwhile, the national capital has also been put on high alert after the driver of a taxi hired by 3 unidentified persons from Pathankot was found dead in Kangra district in Himachal Pradesh. The taxi driver was found dead on Wednesday and his taxi was missing.
I may not be having all the details because this incident has not occurred in Delhi, but suffice will be to say that public must be aware about this incident. They should be aware about this car and the persons who are seen in the footage. If anybody comes across any such person, immediately information should be provided to police.
Security has also been tightened along the border, with BSF personnel stepping up the vigil, especially along the border in Punjab. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The cold wave continues unabated in North India, with northwesterly winds likely to bring down temperatures further over the next few days. A surprising chill also hit Maharashtra's Vidarbha region, with several cities recording minimum temperatures in single digits.
Cold wave conditions continue unabated in North India, throwing normal life out of gear. With Kanpur recording a minimum temperature of 6 degrees Celsius on Friday, people did everything they could to battle the cold.
सर्दी बहुत ज़्यादा है, अलाव की व्यवस्था उस तरह है नहीं, न कुछ जल रहा है न कुछ, ठंड का बहुत ज़्यादा ठंड है.
Meanwhile, in the national capital, air and rail traffic has been disrupted due to the dense fog. Passengers were stranded at the airport as flights were delayed, with visibility dropping below 50 meters.
Well, my flight's been delayed because of the fog and it's not looking too good. I'm not really happy with everything. We're out here, the airport hasn't provided us with any accommodation. They're saying we can't go into the main bit. I'm hungry, I'm tired and I'm very disappointed with how the airport is.
A surprising chill has also enveloped the Vidarbha region. Nagpur recorded a minimum temperature of 7.1 degrees Celsius, while Akola recorded 7.9 degrees Celsius. Several other cities of the region also witnessed minimum temperatures in single digits. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Without a quick break here, we'll be back with more news. Stay with us. Let's get to the latest now from the World Economic Forum in Davos. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley today expressed hopes that India can stand out with reforms despite a global economic crisis. Meanwhile, world leaders also discussed the escalating threat from the Islamic State and other terror groups. Here's a report.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley optimistic about India's economic future despite a global economic slowdown at the World Economic Forum in Davos. He said India can stand out with reforms and responsible economic planning. Jaitley reiterated India must carry on the structural reforms to once again defy the global slowdown. This even as there is a mood of concern among the global leaders and other participants at the World Economic Forum in Davos. On the sidelines, leaders also discussed the escalating threat from the Islamic State. Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi pledged IS will be largely eradicated in Iraq by the end of 2016, but their presence in Syria will remain a major challenge.
We are winning this war. We have kicked Daesh out of Ramadi. It's not only Ramadi, the city proper, is complete area outside Ramadi, which, to be honest with you, some areas were never under the control of Iraqi security forces for a very long time.
European migrant crisis and climate change also became a topic of discussion at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
International Monetary Fund Chief Christine Lagarde has said that she is running for a second term to lead the Washington-based institution and has received backing from some of the world's major economies to keep the job. Nominations for the position, which are submitted by member countries, opened on Thursday. Lagarde got the backing of European states, including Germany, France, Britain and the Netherlands, as well as China, South Korea and Mexico, while the US, which is the IMF's largest shareholder, has yet to formally back her. Lagarde replaced Dominic Strauss-Kahn in 2011, becoming the first female chief of the IMF. Before this, she was the French Minister for Economic Affairs and the first female finance minister in the G8. Last month, Lagarde was ordered to stand a trial in France for alleged negligence over compensation payment to a top businessman, Bernard Tapie. She approved the payment in 2008 when she was the French finance minister. Lagarde's current term as managing director expires on the 5th of July.
Oui, je suis candidate pour un deuxième mandat. J'ai eu l'honneur de recevoir dès l'ouverture de la procédure des soutiens de la France, de la Grande-Bretagne, de l'Allemagne, de la Chine, de la Corée, du Mexique.
And now for more international news, let's tune into Global Buzz. South Korea has called for a meeting of 5 countries, excluding North Korea, to discuss the country's nuclear program. The call comes amid a flurry of diplomatic exchanges involving Washington and Beijing as the international community seeks to impose fresh sanctions on North Korea for its 4th nuclear test. Meanwhile, North Korea said that it had detained a U.S. university student for committing a hostile act. The North state-run television KRT said that the student, Otto Warmbier, entered North Korea as a tourist and was caught committing an act against the state, which it said was tolerated and manipulated by the U.S. government. At least 17 people were killed when Islamist gunmen struck a popular beachside restaurant in the Somali capital of Mogadishu. Al-Shabaab, a militant group, said that its members set off 2 car bombs on Mogadishu's popular Lido beach. They also engaged in a gun battle with government troops as the latter tried to flush them out. A huge second blast, which witnesses said echoed around the city centre, struck about an hour later as government soldiers laid siege to the restaurant. All right, let's get you some sports news now, starting with the Australian Open. And Roger Federer reached the last 16 after proving too strong for Grigor Dimitrov in their highly anticipated third-round match, while Maria Sharapova beat unseeded American Lauren Davis to move into the 4th round. A patient Roger Federer weathered a second-round set storm from Grigor Dimitrov before slapping down the Bulgarian challenger 6-4, 3-6, 6-1, 6-4 on Friday. It was his 300th win in Grand Slams. The 34-year-old Swiss had earlier won a tight battle against Dimitrov in Brisbane in the build-up to the Australian Open. Both of them displayed elegant shot-making, but had Federer been more effective on breakpoints in the second set, he might have just won it in 3 sets. Meanwhile, in the women's singles, world number 5 Maria Sharapova claimed a third-set bagel and clinched a place in round 4, where she will play against Belinda Bencic. Sharapova is through to the next level with a 6-1, 6-7, 6-love win over Lauren Davis. Davis produced superb tennis to take the second set 7-6 from Sharapova but they were sandwiched between periods of complete dominance from her Russian opponent. And more sports news now in Sports Beat. With the Indian team struggling in Australia, the clamour is getting louder for Virat Kohli to be made the captain of all three formats. Former cricketers feel that MS Dhoni can be a part of the team as a wicket-keeper batsman, but not as captain anymore. However, Dhoni has already been announced as the captain of the team in the World T20 in March-April. India has lost their last 3 ODI series, including the current one, playing under Dhoni. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear the petition of the Cricket Association of Bihar seeking implementation of the Lodha panel report on BCCI reforms. The apex court appointed Justice Lodha panel submitted its report to the Supreme Court on the 4th of January. It has recommended sweeping reforms in the board, suggesting a bar on ministers from occupying positions, putting a cap on the age and tenure of the office bearers, and legalizing betting. Chelsea have reportedly reached a verbal agreement to sign Corinthian striker Alexandre Pato on a 3-year deal. The Brazilian club is said to have accepted a transfer fee of around £9 million after talks with Chelsea officials. Pato enjoyed the most prolific season of his professional career in 2015 with 26 goals across all competitions. Liverpool, Chelsea, West Ham and Tianjin Songjiang are also said to have shown interest in signing the 26-year-old. And that's all we have for you on News at 6. Thanks so much for joining us.